in terms of the role that technology can play, I really just want to start with there needs to be more investments in technology, especially technology geared towards enabling women to access jobs and to grow in entrepreneurship. Because a couple of key challenges have been mentioned here. For example, Tracy, hi Tracy. Tracy talked about the fact that there's a challenge with access to information. And it's not just the access, it's the access and the use. And this today, we know that a lot of the information is on the internet, which is why you see somebody like Mary talks about the intersectionality of grading women. Like, is this just a woman, or is this a woman refugee, or is this a woman in an internally displaced person? So, for example, using technology to give women access to information that can then enable them benefit from these programs, then we have to be able to understand the fact that technology in itself can be an enabler and a barrier. I mean, ISN has a program, DAFIM, that was actually birthed as a result of the fact that technology was a barrier to certain groups of people, especially people in underserved communities, to access the benefits of the digital economy. So the first thing is, how can technology do it? One, there needs to be more investments in terms of infrastructure, in terms of equipment financing, because women in underserved communities, how many of them have smartphones? We need to rethink the technology, to think no G, as a matter of fact, to think what is again, because when we say technology today, we start thinking of chats and all the other AI stuff and amazing things that are happening. But we need to think of the fact that a zipper is technology. The fact that you can take your zip up and down is technology. And how can we innovate around those spaces where there is very poor internet access, around those spaces where there is no equipment? That is where we need to think of the innovation, and it requires a lot of investment. There needs to be investment now in skills. I also want to mention the aspect of risk and talk about the fact that sometimes when we talk about the fact that women do not necessarily take a lot of risk, I think that it depends on the choice architecture. So in what settings do women not take risk? Because I actually want to think that if the circumstances were different, women do take a lot of risk to start businesses, to go out on their own, to be breadwinners and all of that. There's an element of risk in that. And now back to what I was saying about technology. I want to say three things. One, there needs to be more investments in skills. And two, there needs to be more investments in the infrastructure and the equipment that women need to use to have access to these programs that we are running, which is why hubs have been so game changing, I would say, because we now provide these spaces where women can come and have access to these things. We are running a program, Growth for Her, and we've had this lady who is somewhere in the Southeast, I think Enugu or Anambra, one of the villages, and she goes to a cyber cafe to attend the programs online. And she goes to a cyber cafe to prepare her pitch deck. And it's been the most, because you understand, you've been so used to things happening in a particular way. She has to call us from the cyber cafe and say, oh, this is happening, and what can she do? How can she improve what she's doing? And that is the space where hubs are operating out of. So we, even as hubs, we need to think around creating spaces where these women can come in and work out of, come in and have access to the technology, because it requires a lot of investment that they cannot afford. And we need to provide these safe spaces for them to access it and use it to be able to unlock the many, many benefits. Thank you.